Hello, good morning or good afternoon. How are you? I hope you can see me and hear me. I mean, 0 of you for now, but I hope that in future you will be able to see me and hear me clearly, because I prepared something special for you for this morning, some new vocabulary. So this morning we are gonna learn or revise, if you have already learned these words. These are words, let's say, I know that students usually like to know the level. Obično đaci vole da znaju koji je to nivo. Dakle, hajde da kažemo da je to početni 2, srednji 1 nivo, ili možda čak i srednji 2 na engleskom, dakle pre-intermediate, prvi, drugi deo, odnosno intermediate. Okay, I prepared them only in English. Dakle, reči su samo na engleskom. There is no translation in Serbian. Nema prevoda na srpskom. And if I think that the word is too difficult or something, I can translate it. But you can write me in the comments as well. Da li hoćete da pričam na srpskom više or to talk more in English, ili kad neku reč ne razumete ili ne razumete rečenicu, primer, so just write me in the comments and I will translate that for you gladly. Okay, so new vocabulary for this morning. The first word for this morning, maybe not very convenient for the Saturday morning, but it's insane. Insane. So you can recognize the word sane here. When somebody is sane, then let's say he's normal. And insane. Insane. So we can say that it's something like crazy. For example, crazy or not normal, it's insane. So the first example here is universal example. It's insane. And it can be positive and negative. So when you say, wow, it's insane, naravno da ste se onda nečim oduševili i mislite da je to super. So it's awesome, it's insane. Mi kažemo ludilo, ali u smislu pozitivno. But if somebody has done something that you don't like, then you would say, it's insane. Why did he do that? I wouldn't have done that because it's insane. Dakle, to insane možete koristiti i u pozitivnom i u negativnom smislu. He had gone insane, so he had gone crazy. He had gone insane or crazy. So something happened to him and he had gone. Of course, this is a sentence from a book and that's why it's in past perfect tense. He had gone. We can also use he has gone. He has gone insane. If he is still insane now. So if you ask, what's wrong with your friend? What has got into him? What's wrong with him? What's the matter with him? Well, I don't know what to tell you. I think that he has gone insane. He has gone crazy. Something happened to him. And here in my third example, you can see that we used insane in a very positive sense. So they were making insane amounts of money. So it means that they were making a lot of money, insane amounts of money. So probably they didn't expect to earn so much money. So instead of saying to make money, of course, you can say earn money. So they were earning, they were making insane amounts of money. So it means a lot of money. So you can see one word, insane. It's difficult to translate it. Teško je prevesti jednu reč jednom reči kod nas. Dakle, uvek Tu postoje razne nijanse u prevodu, kao i kod ove reči insane. Dakle, you are insane, ti si lud, potpuno si lud, why are you doing that, you're insane, or wow, that's insane, to je super. Znači, i pozitivno i negativno. Ok, number 2 is soul. Ovo je reč koja nema toliko značenja, dakle soul, duša. He puts his heart and his soul into his work, which is one of the reasons he has been so successful. So, if you have been asking yourself, ako ste se pitali how to become successful in your job, kako da postanete uspešni u poslu, so maybe you should put your heart and soul into your work. And what does it mean? Šta to znači put your heart and soul into your work? So, to be focused, to biti fokusiran, to do only one thing, but to try to do your best. Trudite se da date sve od sebe. Put your heart and soul into something. So when you put your heart and soul into something, it means you are completely devoted, posvećen to that thing. So one of the reasons he has been so successful is that he puts his heart and his soul into his work. So that was verb soul. Heart and soul. Okay. Are you ready for the third one? You can already see it on the screen. And it is capable. Capable. So do you know what it means? For example, okay, let's read the example here. Show him what you are capable of. Her brother is a very capable doctor. I don't think she's capable of doing such a thing. So, what do you mean? What do you mean? Not what do you mean. What do you think? What is the meaning of the word capable? Well, maybe you can recognize here the word able. Able. So, I'm able to do something. It means simply that I can do it. I'm able to do it. I can do it. And I can also say I'm capable of doing it. I'm capable of doing it. So we use this capable, predajem, sposoban. And then we need a preposition of. And of course, after preposition, we always use ing form of the verb. Posle predloga uvek ide ing oblik glagola. Dakle, primjer je I think or I don't think that she is capable of doing such a thing. So, are you capable of, I don't know, making a live video? Are you capable of doing that? What do you think? Is it hard to do it or not very hard? It depends. I mean, you get used to it, but at the beginning, it was really hard to just turn on the computer and then say live stream, and then suddenly you are in the screen and everybody can see you and hear you. Luckily, at the beginning, you don't have a lot of people watching you, then you can, kind of relax. Na početku nema mnogo viewera. Sada, for example, I think that 11 or 12 people are watching this live stream, and I would like to say hello to them. So, hello, viewers. I hope that you have a nice Saturday morning, and I hope that you can learn something with me, but I would like to hear the feedback. I would like to know, is this useful for you or not? Should I go faster? Should I read these words faster? Or should I do it slowly? Because sometimes they tell me, slow down, you're too quick, you're talking too fast, and then sometimes they say that I'm too slow. So you can tell me, you can advise me, you can tell me what you prefer. Okay, so capable, sposoban, i kad hoćete da kažete da ste sposobni, I'm capable of. For example, I have a plan, and my next plan is to go to another country by car. And I'm not a very experienced driver. and I have recently got my driving license, and I still feel insecure when I'm in the car driving, and I haven't driven a car for so long, maybe for, I don't know, I can even count it on my numbers, how many times I've got into the car and drive. But anyway, I'm thinking now, am I capable of driving there or not? So what do you think? Am I capable of doing that or not? Okay, soon we will find out, in a couple of days, hopefully. Hopefully I will have another live and I will tell you I did it and I was capable of doing it. Okay, and maybe I will just do a new live stream and I will tell you that I was incapable. So the word number 4 is incapable. So it means that you are not capable of doing something, that you cannot do something. So yesterday he changed his financial advisor. Why? Well, because the previous one was incapable, forgetful, and lazy. We have 3 interesting adjectives here: incapable, forgetful, and lazy. So who would like to have a financial advisor or assistant or a worker, an employee who is incapable, forgetful, and lazy? Dakle, niko ne bi volio da ima radnika koji je nesposoban, zaboravan i lenj. So yes, not a good idea. And people who are incapable, forgetful, and lazy usually lose their jobs because they are incapable, forgetful, and lazy. They should be hardworking, they should be capable of doing a lot of things, and not lazy. Okay, so capable, incapable. The word number 5 is splash. Splash. So when you're in a water, you can splash with your hands or your feet. Children like when they're in the sea to splash. Dakle, prskati. Children were splashing each other with water, and he splashed himself with cold water. Sentence number 2, it would mean, that he just washed his face. He splashed himself with cold water. So he used cold water to splash himself, to wash his face. Maybe he wanted just to wake up. Maybe he was sleepy, so he needed cold water, and he needed to splash himself with cold water. So don't splash me. Nemoj da me prskaš. That would be number 5. So do you remember the words from the beginning? We were talking about insane. So that's insane. That's crazy. That's madness. That's insane. Then about soul, or more that we have to put heart and soul into the things that we are doing, into our work. We have to devote ourselves to put heart and soul into something if we want to be successful. And then we all wish to be capable, but sometimes we are incapable of doing something. Of course, incapable, nesposoban, ne znači da ste nesposobni za sve. For example, I can say that I'm incapable of driving like for 10 hours. I can't drive for 10 hours. I'm capable of driving for 2 hours, but I'm incapable of driving for more than 2 hours. And we had splash. So you can exercise, you can train your memory and try to memorize as many words as you can from this lesson. It's a good practice. Oh, I will ask you, when we come to the word number 10, I will ask you again if you can remember the words that we start with at the beginning. Okay, so number 6. Number 6 is cheek. Cheek. Well, it sounds like chick. Chick je pile, a ovo je cheek je obraz. Cheek to cheek. She kissed him on the cheek. Znači mi kažemo u obraz. In English you don't say in the cheek, you say on the cheek. Give me a kiss on the cheek. And then you see, the first example is always the easy one, but the second one is a little bit more complicated. So suddenly, overcome with emotion, she struck him with all her force right across the left cheek. So obviously, it's an aggressive act that a woman did to a man. What did she do? She struck him with the force, with all her force. So she hit him. She struck him. She hit him. It's the verb strike. Napasti. She struck him with all her force across the left cheek. So maybe she had something to strike him with, or maybe just her fist or her hand across the left cheek. And example number 3, a tear ran down her cheek. So suza je tekla niz njen obraz. So a tear ran down her cheek. So cheek, kiss me on the cheek, and when you cry, your tears run down your cheek or cheeks. Maybe if you cry a lot, then you have tears all over your cheeks. Okay, and for example, your cheeks can turn red, you know, when you blush. Kad vas je sramota, then you blush, pocrvenite, and then your cheeks get red. Yeah. Or when you are pale, then your cheeks are white. And number 7, as you see, there is no example for this word, and it's a word cheeky. It's an adjective, predajem, cheeky, and you usually describe children using this adjective cheeky. So cheeky, it means like nevaljao, bezobrazan, but nothing serious. So kids can be cheeky. Kids can be naughty, really naughty. There are some children who are behaving really, really bad, but when you say that, he's just or she's just being cheeky, it means like samo se zavitlava, šali, cheeky. Okay, accelerator number 8. Again, something to do with my car and my driving. So to put foot on the accelerator, it means staviti nogu na gas. Dakle, accelerate, it means ubrzati. And accelerator u ovom slučaju jeste ona gas, pedala za gas. So he had put her foot down on the accelerator. When you say hit the brakes or put your foot on the brake, ukoči, and you put your foot on the accelerator na gas. If you want, of course, your car to go faster. Okay, now we are here to the word number 9, which has many meanings, different meanings. Now we will see, for example, handle here in the first sentence is used as a verb. Znači koristimo ovdje handle kao glagol i ja sam primijetila da se i kod nas, vjerojatno i vi, često koristi baš handle, jer je nekad često problem da se prevede kad kažeš, jel možeš to da handluješ? Be careful how you handle that. Well, to handle može znači rukovati, jer je i sama reč ovdje hand, ruka. Znači, for example, auto, can you handle the car? Or can you handle some other, device? Znači, možeš i da upravljaš time, znaš i da rukuješ time. Be careful how you handle that, znači pažljivo sa tim, pažljivo rukuj sa tim. Because it would have to be handled tactfully. It would have to be handled tactfully. Tactfully, sa taktom, znači pažljivo, carefully, moraš nešto da handluješ, znači da rukuješ sa nečim. Handle. Sad u sljedećoj, a large cup with a handle. And in this case, handle je ručka, opet u vezi sa rukom, hand. Znači, cup or a glass or a mug that has a handle. This is a handle. And next example is the thing I was talking about. U sljedećem primjeru, ono što smo pričali, she knew how to handle a young man with an explosive sense of his own importance. Dakle, što je znala? Kako da se ponaša, kako da handluje, kako da se ponaša u društvu mladića koji je imao explosive sense of his own importance, što može da bude prilično nezgodno. Znači ima mnogo tih, naročito mlađih ljudi, koji, i ovo je veoma lep opis, imaju explosive sense of self-importance, of his own importance. Dakle, jednostavno su, što bi rekli, puni sebe i misle da su oni najvažniji na svetu i ponekad je teško handlovati takve ljude. Znači, sometimes it's difficult to handle these kind of people. Sometimes they think that the world revolves around them, da se sve tvrti oko njih i da se sve dešava zbog njih. Okay, and my brother and I differ markedly in the way we handle money. You can handle money. Dakle, kako se ti, kako mi kažemo, ophodiš prema novcu. Dakle, do you waste your money? Do you spend a lot of money and buy some things that you really don't need? Or are you maybe a little bit thrifty? Or you save money? Dakle, ili si malo štedljivi, thrifty, you save money, or you like to spend money and you're generous with money. So, me and my brother, we differ markedly. Znači, razlikujemo se markedly, znači prilično, u načinu kako handlujemo, kako se ophodimo prema novcu. In the way we handle money. Okay. So, number 10, before we start with number 10, I will ask you to try to remember the first 10 words that we talked about. Maybe I cannot do that, but we will try, you know. Are you capable of doing that? Are you capable of remembering all these words, or incapable? So I remembered 2, capable and incapable are the things. Hello, Dragana. You're not late. You're just in time. Don't worry. So I will just revise the words. So do you remember the first word? Insane was the first. I remember it. Insane. And then soul. Put your heart and soul into your work. To je bio dobar savjet. Onda smo imali capable and incapable. To splash somebody with water. Cheek. Kissed somebody on the cheek and a tear can run down the cheek. And when somebody is cheeky, it means malčice bezobrazan. Accelerator. Put the foot down on the accelerator to speed up, to handle something. And then we said that you can handle money, you can handle some people, or you can have a cup with a handle. So different meanings of the word handle. You can, we use it very often, I think, when they say, can you handle stress? For example, can you handle stressful situations? Or how do you handle stressful situations? Dakle, kako se snalaziš u stresnim situacijama? Personally, I don't know what. Sometimes I handle stressful situations, okay, but sometimes it's hard. Okay, Bubits, can you turn it down, please? Thank you. My assistant is here, and he is making noise. And Neki Tamolik says it's not hello, but it's hello. Why not? It can be hello as well. Hello is in German. Hello is in English. It's just one spelling mistake. Or maybe Dragana wanted to say hello in German. Okay. So shade. Shade is number 10. Shade. Maybe we have some problems with internet. It says that YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. And viewers can experience, I don't know what. So I don't know if you can hear me now or not. Can you hear me? We were just warming up. No? Yes? Okay, I will continue talking and hopefully you will hear something about the word shadow. So the next word is shadow. It's word number 11. And do you know what shadow means? Well, when it's too sunny, for example, outside. Aha, you can hear me. Yes, yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay, shadow. Let's see first the example of the word shadow. Just a sec. It says that, oh, sorry, I skipped shade. First we will do shade and then shadow. So shade. I just remembered that there was a movie, I don't know how many shades of gray. Do you remember that movie? Have you watched that movie, and do you remember how many shades of gray they mention in the title of that movie? 13 shades of green, 15 shades of green, 70 shades of green. I don't know. Anyway, so we have a blue color, for example, and then we have marine blue, light blue, etc. So these are all shades of the same color. And shade, it can mean, as it says in the first sentence, that they were resting in the shade. So if you have a tree and the tree has leaves, then if you sit under the tree, you will be sitting in a shade. So there is no sun in the shade. And they call, you can hear shades like the other name for sunglasses. When they say, I like your shades, it's like, I like your sunglasses, because they make shade for your eyes. Okay, so they were resting in the shade of the tree. And shade, kao glagol, so she raised her hand to shade her eyes from the sun. So the sun was too bright and strong, so she had to raise her hand and to shade her eyes. So shade her eyes, put your hand in front of your eyes, just to shade your eyes from the sun. So shade. And you don't remember the movie Shade and how many shades of gray they mention in that movie? If somebody remembers, please tell me. I don't want to Google it right now. Okay, shade and shadow. So shadow is, the trees can make shadow. The shadow of the tree were falling across the lawn. Or some children watched them from the shadows as they entered. So shadow. Shadow, you can make a shadow, for example, on the wall if there is a light in front of your hand, and you can make these shadow puppets or something. So you need light or sun in order to have shadow. Okay, so, and the sun has to be in behind you, I guess, and then you will make shadow in front of you. Okay, so this is shade and shadow. And number 12 is perhaps. Do you know how to say perhaps in some other way? Can anyone tell me? Radmila, Dominion, Crni, Dragana, neki tamo lik. I would like you to. It's an easy question. How do you say perhaps in English? And you don't want to say perhaps. It starts with M. Okay, if somebody knows, tell me please. I will start writing it. It goes with me, and then you can continue. Okay, so perhaps there is a song as well. Perhaps he will come. Perhaps I've been robbed. Perhaps she has changed her mind. So why hasn't she come? Well, I don't know. Perhaps she has changed her mind. What happened to you? Where is your wallet? Well, I don't know. Perhaps I have been robbed. And then perhaps they hit me on the head and I fainted, and then I don't remember anything. So perhaps I have been robbed. And perhaps he will come. So what time is it? The party has already started. Where is he? Well, perhaps he will come. Okay, so perhaps is maybe. Maybe or perhaps. It means možda, of course. Okay, we can move on if you're ready for image. And I'm sure that you know what image is when you use image kao slika, tako, images on your phone, but image je i image, i mi koristimo tu reč u značenju sviđa mi se njegov image, perhaps it's like a style or something. And here you have interesting examples with mental image. So that's something that you are imagining in your head that something looks like. You haven't seen something, but you have your mental picture or your mental image of that in your head. So my prediction is that you already have a mental image of my type of work. Or for example, you're traveling somewhere, you have seen some photos, but you haven't been to that place so far, and then you've seen some photos and you make a mental image of that place or maybe of that person in your head. So mental image. And the sentence number 2, I can safely bet that your image comes straight from the world of Hollywood. Well, it's a sentence from a book, so maybe it's not an easy one to understand. But okay, so I can safely bet that your image comes straight from the world of Hollywood. We haven't been to Hollywood so far, so okay, so that's all about image. I would like you to remember this phrase, a mental image of something. So you don't have a concrete photo of that, but you have it in your head. So you have a mental image of that. To transmit, transmission, transmit, he has transmitted all his knowledge to his son. So preneti. He transmitted his knowledge to his son. So maybe he was a dentist and then he wanted his son to become a dentist as well. And then he transmitted all his knowledge to him in order for his son to become a successful and famous dentist. So to transmit. Awful is number 15. Awful. Awful. What's awful? I have a question here. My email. Okay, email. So do you know any synonyms for the word awful? Can you tell me any synonyms for awful? Horrible, terrible, awful. It means grozno. The thing smells awful. The show was absolutely awful. Life without them is too awful to think about. You know, I just remembered a line from Friends when Joy says, your food was abysmal. And he was using this word abysmal, thinking that it's something good. And actually abysmal, we can say that it's a synonym for awful. So awful, terrible, horrible, abysmal. Abysmal, it means really, really bad. Okay. So now we will go back to the word number 10, just to see what that was. We don't want to forget everything. So we were talking about shades and shadows. Shade and shadow. And then perhaps and maybe a mental image, a mental picture of something that you have in your head to transmit your knowledge, and that something is awful. Okay, and now you didn't tell me anything about shades and that movie, and now I have to Google it because I want to find out how many shades of gray were there in that movie. 50. I found it. 50 shades of gray, so a lot. 50 shades of gray. Okay. Sorry for interruption. Anyway, to wonder. Do you know what it is? And be careful not to mix these two words. Wonder with O and wonder with... I have this keyboard here and I forget using it. So wonder with O and with A. I wonder where he is. I'm wandering through the town. So these are different words. Here we have wonder with A. It means like lutati. So he had just wandered. Nekad se kaže kad neko se nije fokusira na nešto što... So he drifted away. He wandered in his thoughts. Znači samo odlutao. I was bored, so I wandered around the town. So what did he do? He was just aimlessly walking. Aimlessly. Aim je cilj. When you do something aimlessly, dakle, without any goal. So he didn't want to go anywhere in particular. He was just bored. He was alone and he didn't know what to do. So he was just aimlessly wandering around the town. Aimlessly walking around the town. So it's wander. And tired of wandering about, he settled in the village. So he was tired of wandering about, of going back and forth. And they wandered, here we have aimlessly, I didn't even see that word here. So they wandered aimlessly up and down the streets of the big city. So has it ever happened to you to go to some nice European or maybe world city and then just to go as a tourist? I like that feeling when you're just a tourist there and there is nobody rushing you to do anything. You're just relaxed and you can just wander aimlessly up and down and discover, explore the city. And I mean, it's a great feeling, and I haven't felt that feeling for so long. I would like to go to an unknown town. It doesn't have to be some big city. It can be just a little town, and to wander aimlessly up and down through little streets and to explore the city. The feeling is great. You should try that if you haven't. Okay, so that's wander with A, and wonder with O. I wonder where he is. So it means like pitam se. Wonder. Okay. I hope you can catch up. We are here at the number 17. And in the title I said 215 words, but I don't think I will be able to read all 250, but because it's going too slowly, I thought I would just read them. So you can tell me if I'm too slow, if you want just to hear the words and to find out whether you know them or not. I can just read the words for you. So I will take any advice you give me. Number 17 is meanwhile. Meanwhile. Do you know what meanwhile means? It doesn't have anything to do with mean and with while. So while it means dok, and mean can mean mean, značiti, or mean can značiti škrt. U svakom slučaju, meanwhile je u međuvremenu. Meanwhile, what am I supposed to do? Meanwhile, he had become a journalist, famous for his funny, clever articles. So meanwhile, you can just memorize it, learn it by heart and use it. I mean, it doesn't have any more meanings than nema značenja drugih osim u međuvremenu. So what did you do meanwhile? Meanwhile. Number 18 is wave, and wave has, wave can be a word, a noun, and a verb. So if I'm doing this, I'm waving to you. I'm waving to my viewers. Hello viewers, I'm waving to you. Dakle, mahati. And wave can be, I mean, if you're a surfer and if you like surfing, if your passion is surfing, then you just long for big waves. Dakle, samo žudiš za velikim talasima. Dakle, wave je talas. I wave je mahati. The waves were huge, so I didn't go swimming. I waved him goodbye and I left. The man who is waving to me is my uncle. So, wave, she just waved me goodbye. Dakle, samo mi je mahnula. She waved me goodbye. Wave. Prvo je W, a posle obično V. Znači, pazite kad pišete. Wave. Wave. Prvo je V, a drugo je V. Wave. So, I saw her in the street and she didn't even wave to me. Nije mi ni mahnula. She didn't even wave to me. Šta znači aimlessly? Dakle, kad ne znate možda šta znači reč, probajte da je raščlanite na delove. Ovdje imamo reč aim, imamo sufiks less i još jedan sufiks ly. Znači aim je imenica i znači cilj. Kada dodamo less, to znači da nečega nema. Kad sam money less, nemam novca. Kad sam aim less, nemam cilja. I kad plus dodamo ovaj ly, tako gradimo prilog, znači opisujemo kako je lutao. Aimlessly, bezciljno. Aimlessly. Okay, so wave, storm. Storm. One of celebrities named her daughter Stormy. Maybe you know who she is. She comes from a very, very rich and famous family. And this family is very famous, and their life is on TV. They have this reality show. They had the reality show. They don't have it anymore, but they are still everywhere, present everywhere. Anyway, one of these sisters, the youngest one, I think, I'm not sure, she named her daughter Stormy. Dakle, Stormy oluja, so how can we translate stormy? I don't know. Olujna. Storm. The storm damaged lots of trees. The storm brought strong winds, freezing cold, and heavy snow. So, storm, oluja. Hello. Chase. And 20 is admit, and we will stop here and then we will revise what we did so far. So admit, priznati, they admitted that they had stolen the money. He admitted his mistake. Why don't you want to admit that you're angry? She admitted her own jealousy. They don't want to admit that they have made a mistake, and they don't want to admit making a mistake. So different maybe type of sentences here. So priznao sam da sam napravio grešku. Mogu reći I admitted that, znači sa that rečenicom, I admitted that I have or had made a mistake, ili admit plus ing. I admitted making or having made a mistake. So, to admit. Ali admit ima još jedno značenje, ovdje nema primjer za to, znači primljen. He was admitted to hospital, for example. Dakle, primljen je u bolnicu. He was feeling sick or something happened to him, so he was immediately admitted to hospital. Okay. So, do you remember any of the words? If you hear a lot of words, too many words at the same time, then you won't be able to memorize them, I guess. But you can just remember some of them. So, insane, capable, incapable. What else? We had shade and shadow. Do you remember all of this? Meanwhile, wonder with A and wonder with O. Image. Cheeky and cheek. Splash. So it's very important to revise, repeat all the time the same things. I mean, especially when it comes to languages. Znači, posebno je važno za jezike ponavljati jednu te istu stvar 1000 puta. And of course, it's not only for languages. If I want to drive better, I have to travel every day and do the same things every day. Dakle, tako i sa jezikom. Možete čuti reč i prepoznati je, možda u tom trenutku i znate šta znači, ali maybe after 20 minutes you will completely forget about it. So, if you don't repeat it. Okay, so we can continue a little bit more with confess. So, admit, confess. What does confess mean? It means priznati. I must confess that I know nothing about computers. I have to confess that I was afraid at first. I have to confess that I wasn't really sick yesterday. I just didn't want to come to work. So sometimes when you lie to somebody, then the next day or someday you can just confess the thing that you have lied. Dakle, confess, priznati. And sometimes it's a good thing to confess, but sometimes it's not a good thing. So decline odbiti, yes, that's true. So you just be careful when you are deciding whether to confess something or not. Maybe it won't be good for you. Anyway, to confess or to make a confession. I have a confession to make. You can use that phrase as well. I have to tell you something. I have a confession to make. I have to take it off my chest. Moram to da izbacim iz sebe. And then I have to tell you I have a confession to make or I have to confess something that happened. Znači priznati. Forward and backward, of course you know what forward and backward are. You use them probably every day. Napred, nazad. So he stepped forward, kročio je napred, and she stepped forward holding her phone. So step forward, step backward, step backward. Ako vam neko vikne, slučajno neki policajac ili nešto, negde, step backward, dakle, idite unazad, step forward, kročite napred. Ali ono što je, i evo backward je ovde, znači nazad. Međutim, ono što je interesantno za backward, forward, jeste izraz to look, forward to, look, forward to. So, radovati se nečemu, iščekivati nešto. I naravno da pazite kako koristite tu frazu, u smislu da kad hoćete da kažete čemu se radujete, dakle morate taj glagol da koristite u ing obliku. Šta to znači? Pa evo ovde kaže I look forward to spending time with you. A ne I look forward to spend time with you. Dakle, mi smo obično navikli da kad vidimo ovo to, dakle to da nam je deo infinitiva i onda naravno iza toga ide base verb. To go, to sleep, to drink, to etc. Ali ovde to tu nije to tu deo infinitiva, već je predlog. A pravilo bez izuzetka da iza predloga moramo da koristimo ing oblik glagola. Sad kako da znam kad je tu predlog, a kada nije, mislim ne mogu nikako da znam, jednostavno to se nauči na pamet. Dakle, vi učite na pamet da iza fraze look forward to koristite glagol sa ing nastavkom. I često koristite tu frazu, pretpostavljam recimo kad pišete mailove i onda kažete dole I look ili I'm looking, svejedno da ćete koristiti present simple ili present continuous. I look forward to meeting you. Znači, radujem se što ćete sresti. I look forward to seeing you. I look forward to talking to you. I look forward to doing something. Also, don't say I look forward to spend time with you, but I look forward to spending time with you. I evo, recimo, hoćete nekog da pitate jel se raduješ što ćeš da me vidiš? Jel se raduješ što ćeš da me vidiš? Are you looking forward to seeing me? To seeing me, ne to see me, nego to seeing me. Are you looking forward to meeting my family? Are you looking forward to seeing my parents? So, look forward to Naravno, ne morate koristiti glagol, možete reći I'm looking forward to my holiday. Možemo samo imenicu koristiti. I'm looking forward to my next holiday or trip or something, but if you use a verb, ako koristite glagol, taj glagol je ing. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Jedva čekam da te vidim. Pitanje u komentarima glasi šta znači kind of. Kind of znači otprilike ili onako. So, are you hungry? Well, kind of. So, I'm not really hungry, but I'm kind of hungry. Onako, pomalo. Ok, so look forward to, to zapišite, zapamtite. A nešto što smo imali smo forward i backward i awkward. To što volim kad skupljam riječi, da ih skupim ne samo da su slične po značenju, nego su ovdje slične po spellingu, a nemaju veze jedna sa drugom. Znači backward, forward i awkward nemaju nikakve veze. Na ovu reč isto obratite pažnju i zbog spellinga. Dakle, vidite da ima dva ova W ovdje. Awkward. Znači ovo ovdje ne izgovaram, ovo prvo W. Awkward. He looked awkward and uncomfortable in his new clothes. How to stop this awkward silence? When I think about awkward silence, I usually think of elevators. You know, when you are in an elevator, kad ste u liftu, with some man or woman or child, it doesn't matter, but you just don't know these people. They are strangers to you. And then elevator is small usually, and then you just stand there and you don't know what to do. Should you look at your phone? Should you look at those buttons there? And if there is a mirror, is even more awkward because that person can see your reflection in the mirror. So maybe you should just look down at your feet. So usually in elevators, there is an awkward silence, neprijatna tišina. And then yesterday, it happened to me. I was in an elevator with a girl. And first, I mean, she wasn't that much younger than me, but she said doviđenja when she was going out of the elevator. And I was like, I said, ciao, because I feel young. I don't use doviđenja. I don't know why she said doviđenja. But anyway, we were in this elevator and we were going to the 5th and 6th floor. So this ride, I don't know, lasted for a minute or two. And then she just first looked at the mirror, then she looked at her phone, and yes, and then I didn't want this awkward silence to go on infinitely, and I just said, oh, it's so hot outside. So if you want to break the awkward silence, the best thing is to talk about weather. So either you say, ooh, it's so cold, or wow, it's so hot, and then you break the silence, break the ice, and people don't feel so awkward anymore. Dakle, kad se osjećaš awkward, to znači čudno. And when somebody looks awkward, izgleda čudno, nezgrapno može izgledati. Recimo, ovaj ovdje, he looked awkward in his new clothes. Dakle, možda je obukao odijelo po prvi put u životu i ni ne zna kako da se ponaša. So, awkward. Okay. 27 is a sign. That's the sign. Where should I sign? And he was now in his 70s and he was showing signs of age. So as you can see, two different meanings. Znači, veoma često u engleskom reč može biti i imenica i glagol, pa onda moramo da pazimo. Dakle, ako ja kažem where should I sign, znači gde da potpišem. Znači ovo sign, g ne čitam, i čitam kao I. Sign znači potpisati. Signature, signature. You see here, we read everything. Signature je potpis. Put your signature here or sign here. Dakle, to sign je potpisati, a sign je znak. So he was showing signs of his age, and obviously I'm showing signs of my age because that girl told me doviđenja instead of ciao. Okay, so some people are so afraid of these age signs, they go to, I don't know, have plastic surgeries and all these different things in order not to show signs of their age. Yeah. Okay, so a sign, and sometimes people, or maybe very often, people are looking for signs. So when you hesitate, you don't know whether you should do something or not, and then I just need a sign. I just need to see or hear something, and that will be the sign that I should do that or not. So we just need signs. Uvijek tražimo neke znakove. 28 is salary, plata. When did he tell you that his salary had been cut by 10%? With the salary I earn, I can't imagine ever being able to buy my own house. Usually, šta sam preskočila? 26. I skipped 26. What was 26? Confidential. Okay, I will go back to here just to say something about salary. So salary is money that you earn, so your earnings, your income. And you don't expect that you can be able to buy a house with the salary that you can earn. Usually people have to uzmu kredit, odnosno do this mortgage thing I onda otplaćuju tu kuću. You can't buy it in cash, usually. Okay, and my salary has been cut by 10%. It means that it's now I will get 10% less that I got last month. So salary, income, your earnings, you can call it in different ways, but it's money that you get for the job that you have done. And some who told me that I skipped something, I want to praise you, Radmila and Mac Victory. I'm very glad that you were so carefully listening to me and that you noticed that I skipped number 26, and it means that you will improve your English really, really quickly because you're good students and you're hardworking. And 26 was confidential, so you can recognize this word confident and confidential. So when something is confidential, it means that I cannot tell you that. So it's kind of secret. I cannot disclose that secret to you. I cannot tell you what something is about. Usually some big companies, they, I guess, have these confidential documents, or police. In police, probably there are a lot of confidential things, so that we, normal people, will never find about. So confidential, it means that it's how do we say that? How do we say that in our language? It's confidential, strogo poverljivo. It's confidential. So if somebody asks you, I don't know, what are you doing tomorrow? You can say, well, sorry, I can't tell you that. It's confidential. If you want to sound smart, instead of saying it's a secret, you can say it's confidential. I can't say that to you. I can't share that information with you. Okay, assign salary diary. Salary diary. It rhymes. Diary. Diary is dnevnik, but not a dnevnik koji se gleda na TV-u, nego dnevnik koji pišu ljudi. So you can keep a diary of the things that are happening to you. When I was younger, I also kept a diary, but now I don't do that. But they say that it's useful, you know, maybe not to write about everything that's going on and happening in your life, but maybe they say that it's useful to write down the things that you're planning to do, for example. So what are your goals? You don't want to wander aimlessly through life. You have to have your goals in order to succeed and to achieve your goals. So diary can be just a regular piece of paper when you can write down the things that you want to do. For example, next week, I want to learn all these 30 words. That can be your goal for next week. Okay, diary. And number 30 is middle. In the middle of the night, in the middle of the sentence. For example, he interrupted me in the middle of my sentence, and then I couldn't go on. I lost the thread of my thoughts. Izgubio sam nit misli. I lost the thread of my thoughts when he interrupted me in the middle of the sentence, and then I just couldn't continue talking. Or he came in the middle of the night, usred noći. In the middle of the night. There is a song, In the Middle of the Night. It's a very, very old song. I remember listening to that song when I was in my primary school. So, yeah. In the middle of the night, I was knocking. I don't remember the lyrics. Unfortunately, I'm not very good at remembering the lyrics of songs or the titles of movies that I watched or the titles of the songs. I'm so bad at remembering these things. Okay. Celery plata, Radmila said, and Sanja, Sandra, hello. Radmila poverljivo, yes, confidential. Okay. Risk, of course, we all know what risk is. You can take a risk. You're driving, try not to take risks. And he risked being caught. He risked being caught. So you see, you can use ing form of the verb after risk. I risked doing that. I risked being caught. Okay, we can do a couple of more of words, but I'm getting really tired. I have to admit that to you, so I will have to take a break, but if you want, we can continue a little bit later with our words. We can do wet and dry now. And the wet is mokro, vlažno, dry is suvo. So the grass is wet, the benches in the park were wet, her face was wet with tears, and the floor is wet. Be careful, the floor is wet. You can see these signs. Remember the word sign, znak. So the sign, be careful, the floor is wet. You can see that in supermarkets, in post office. So they cleared the floor, so be careful not to slip. Da se ne okliznete. And her face was wet with tears. And the benches were wet because it was raining. And the grass is wet because it was raining as well. So you cannot sit on the bench. You cannot sit on the grass or on the floor because it's wet. And the opposite of wet is dry. Are my clothes dry? And dry your face. So her face was wet because she was crying, or her face was wet because she had been crying actually, or her face was wet because she had washed her face and now he has to dry. She can use a towel, peškir, to dry your face. And he was left high and dry. So for the end, this is a very, very interesting phrase. He was left high and dry. Mi kažemo, ostavili su ga na cedilu. So he didn't know what to do. Everybody left him, and he was left high and dry. Okay. So now you will, of course, tell me if you learned any new words today, and you can write in the comments here the words that will stick in your head. It needs to stick there in order for you to be able to use these words in the conversation, well, because it's important. If you just know the meaning of the word, then yes, it's not useful. So you have to just move these words from your passive knowledge to your active knowledge. Dakle, da izađu iz tog pasivnog znanja, da pređu u aktivno i da počnete da ih koristite. You need examples and you need repetition. That's all you need. You don't need any special talent in order to learn to speak in a foreign language. You just need to be persistent and to repeat. Evo, Pera. Pera, you have a nice last name. Incense, Plation, Chicken. Okay. Is it your real last name or you just invented it? Okay. Thank you very much for staying here with me for an hour and for listening to me, and hopefully you managed to learn something, and hopefully we will see each other next time in our next live session. Goodbye.